Hey, I'm Brian, a veteran game developer who also worked in the film industry for a long time. I've been a creative director, narrative director, animation director, lead writer, storyboard artist, animator, character designer, teacher. I've worked on Mass Effect 2, StarCraft 2, Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, Paragon, Jade Empire, and more. I've also worked on lots of film and TV like Iron Giant, Space Jam, Lion King 1.5, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, The Curious George movie, and more. I've worked at lots of studios. Woo! Finally, I've taught classes and lectured at a variety of universities like CalArts, Laguna College of Art and Design, University of California Irvine, and Harvard's Graduate School of Design. And now I'd love to talk story with you. If you work on a game, particularly in a narrative role, you'll be dealing with the game's IP as well. Now, IP, intellectual property, is a technical term that just means anything that's not physical but is still property. So by that definition, there's lots of stuff you won't deal with. So for instance, the code that powers the game is IP. The logo of the game is IP. But when I say IP, I'm using it in a more common form to mean anything that's sort of persistent across multiple titles in the game. It's also, another word for this is franchise, right? It's part of the franchise. So certain storylines or the world or certain characters or factions or conflicts or even music can all be part of the game's IP. In fact, even just sound effects can be part of that, because not only are they persistent across multiple titles, the term IP can also really mean something that evokes IP or that world or that universe. So if you think about the sound of a lightsaber or the sound of a TIE fighter, you will instantly think of Star Wars. That's what IP means. And as you work on games, you will be making decisions every day that are good for the game, but those decisions will also affect the IP. And that's where things get really tricky, because you can make a decision that's good for the game, but in terms of the long-term health of the IP, it might not be good, right? If an IP is going to persist across titles, that means that there is some kind of long-term effect to your decisions that you can't always see when you make the decision. So if you make good decisions, then 10 years from now, there might be players playing title number 4 or 5 in the game series, or even just playing a trading card game that's an offshoot of the main title, or even watching a TV show or reading a book, things that are all set in that IP, and they will be feeling enjoyment because of decisions you made 10 years ago. They won't know who you are, but they'll still be experiencing good things from your decision making. But conversely, if you make some bad decisions for the IP long term, at a bare minimum, I can tell you there will be game developers sitting in an office writing on whiteboards, cursing whoever made that dumb decision 10 years ago that has now painted them into a corner. That means that as you work on the game, you have this weird bifurcated experience where you have to make the best decision for the game, but you have to keep an eye towards the future. That's what I'm talking about, the care and feeding of an IP. Thinking about the long-term effects of every decision you make. The first thing to consider is that most people, when they join a game team for a particular title, if it's an existing IP, or even if it's a first title in a series, but it's been going for a few years, they try to look backward and see what already exists. And that's a necessary step. When I joined StarCraft, I was already a StarCraft fan, but I immersed myself in StarCraft. I read the books and the comic books, and I really tried to learn everything I didn't know, because I didn't want to make any decisions that seemed like retcons or that contradicted what had come before. And I just wanted to get the feel of the universe from the perspective of a creator rather than a player. And so that's an important step. But in addition to looking backward, you have to look forward. You have to be thinking about what comes next, what is in the future. And in my experience, there are 3 possible ways that game teams approach this. And this series is going to talk about those 3 approaches to the care and feeding of an IP. Figure it out as we go, plan everything, and stay loose. So we'll talk about each of those in turn. That's all for now. I'll see you on the next one.